these are the bands that I'm seeing that are coming up, and they're trying to, be a more natural kind of band. The BPM wars are kind of like over, like.
What was it like being, when you were tracking the songs? Because it's so intense, like all the time. And you've got to be like, at 11 basically every single time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, because, not to repeat myself too much, but we're going for that intensity and stuff. So you almost have to, each, moment of the song, you know, each second of it needs to be powerful in its own way. At least that's the goal. So however you do that, like whether you bring it, by doing it with technicality, like building a part up and like, making something noodly, putting a little shred, put a little finger tapping, building it up to make it drop into like a beat down. Um, that's the kind of stuff, we like to do. And just, or it could be a slow part that's trudging along, and then it goes into a fast part. So making the listener be on the edge of their seat a bit. That's kind of what we go for, aim for.
It's interesting. I've also wondered, like, do you ever think that, death metal in general ever goes a little bit too extreme?
It could become ridiculous, I guess, at some point. I mean, I don't know. I'm not talking shit in any way about bands, but sometimes I don't know. I believe it was like brain drill was a little bit much for me. Like when it gets to be like more extreme than the band Origin, then I'm like, I don't know if I can take this so much.
Yeah.
It's like, but that's just my preference. So I feel like it can be a little much, but it's just, matter of preferences and all. And, I think when the BPM starts exceeding 280 or like we like to keep our BPMs are blasting around 240. Sometimes, we do, throw them in a van, which again is a more grindcore song, and that's more like 260. But I feel like if you're going to play like 300, 320 BPM or something like this, then the guitars have to be more like held out chords, kind of like the way Dark Funeral do it. You strum it out because it's almost like impossible to play like, triplets and 16th notes, like picked so fast, at a 300 BPM. I'm sure there's guys that can do it. There's people all day long on YouTube that are doing Flight of the Bumblebee, and there's some there's some fucking guy that's doing it at like 700 fucking BPM, and the Bumblebee is fucking just exploding, right? But so I can't play that fast, But again, going back to bands like Frozen Soul, like Sugabogg, the Bog. I always fuck up with saying their name, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
100%.
Jenna, Undeath, these are the bands that I'm seeing that are coming up, and they're trying to, be a more natural kind of band. The BPM wars are kind of like over, like people have heard that, it's cool, but so there's this new kind of thing going where it's a more natural vibe and everything. So yeah, so I mean, just it starts coming off as being contrived and just sounding like laptop metal, and
Yeah.
when things get that way. So
So
yeah,
to kind of finish things up, what would you say is something that you've learned the most about, during your time in Dying Fetus throughout these, was it 32
what
years?
I've learned, you become a better traveler and stuff like this, and you learn like little tips and what to bring, like inflatable neck pillows and like a little thing like eye blinders and just little things that help you that's kind of another reason I've been doing my hair longer and like having my skullet and all this and my beard, and it's it's less shaving. Like I was always shaving my head, and in some cold sink over in Germany in February, over in Munich, and like you're like in this dirty bathroom, and then I would be sick the next day. So it's like, maybe I've learned a bit of that, grow some hair, even if it doesn't look good, it keeps keeps you warm and maybe a little more insulated and this and that. But that, just life like that, every day is a learning experience, right? Like, like even like something as small as guitar picks, like I'm using these where the Jim Dunlop was it the Prodigy ones, like
Yeah.
just little things to help every little aspect of this, just how to be cooler, and stuff. You're exposed to so many different cultures. I think it broadens, your horizons as a person, and just you get more in tune with humanity by traveling and stuff, and just a little more compassion for people and stuff. But yeah, man. But it's all a big learning experience and everything, and that's one of the cool thing about all this too, is like the fucking community, that's behind the death metal. Everyone coming together, having a good time, not fighting, fucking just enjoying themselves in the music. And that's one thing I really appreciate about being involved in this. It's a whole culture, man.
Yeah.
So, but I'll leave you with that, man. I won't bore you guys anymore, but thank you guys for all the support. Thank you, my friend, for the interview. We'll see you out soon. Please check out our social media for all our tour dates. Got a big U.S. tour coming up in October, November. Really happy about that one. And I just would also say, guys, please be open-minded about all these bands. Not every band we could play with could be death metal. Like, it's a lot involved with this. Like I know a lot of our fans are like, why don't you play with all death metal bands? Well, it's like we have to get people in the door to sustain a kind of a career, and unfortunately we have to kind of incorporate different genres, but we're all doing the same thing. It's all distorted guitar, it's all drums. It's not that far different. A lot of the bands we play with, but we try to cross over and mix it up. So I just want to say that.
No worries. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you, John. Thank you so much. I've been a fan of Dying Fetus for years and years, man. So
Thank you, man.
It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
And congrats
Yeah.
on Make Them Beg for Death
Thank
as
you.
well. It's fucking killer.
Thank you. Thank you, bro. Thank you, bro. Sorry, everyone, if I was a little bit, woozy today, but cheers, everyone.
No worries,
Keep
man.
it real.